Hi, and welcome back to another video. And today I'll be talking about the Michigan 2026 Senate race, as we have gotten a big update as of this morning, where Michigan's Democrat Senator Gary Peters announced that he won't be seeking re-election. Now, Gary Peters was up for re-election in 2026. There's still going to be a Senate race there, but now it's very different because Gary Peters, the incumbent Democrat senator, has announced he is not running for re-election, which means that the Senate race will most likely be an open primary. Now, I want to also mention that very recently, Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer came out and also said that she is not going to be running for the Senate seat. She would be up for re-election, but she's term limited also in 2026 as governor. So there's going to be an open governor race. So that's also 2026 is going to be a very interesting race, or a very interesting year for Michigan politics, and you have like several House seats, and I'm sure you got a few that are probably open House races. I'm sure. I'm not really familiar on them, but I'll check them out. But yeah, we do have Gary Peters announcing he won't seek re-election. Gary Peters is in his 60s, and I was reading a bit into this article. Gary Peters, Michigan senior senator and a former congressman, said he won't seek re-election next year and will retire from the U.S. Senate when his second term ends in January of 2027. In an exclusive interview, the Bloomfield Township Democrat told the Detroit News that he is ready to leave public office in 2 years and move on to a new chapter that includes spending more time with his family, particularly a new grandchild who lives on the West Coast. Quote, I always thought there would be a time that I would step aside and pass the reins to the next generation. I also never saw service in Congress as something you do your whole life, said Peters, who was first elected to the Senate in 2014. Now I can actually show you guys that election data from 2014 here. Let me go back. So Gary Peters first elected in 2014. It was a red wave here in 2014. There was also massive low turnout. Obviously, Barack Obama won in 2012 along with some Senate pickups. But in 2014, Republicans got some pickups. Although Gary Peters was first elected to Michigan in 2014, as you can see here, that against Terry Land, who lost by 13 points. 13 points. So yeah, that is incredible, even for a red wave year. Anyways, getting back to that. So yeah, okay, he won by 13 points. Almost, yeah. He won by 13 points, a little over 13 points. And then you go 6 years later when he was up for re-election again in 2020, which was a blue wave year. And you have Gary Peters barely hanging on there, which, surprising. Joe Biden won the presidency. You had two pickups in Georgia. And you had this close race in Michigan. And of course, you had, Virginia going by 12 points. And then you had the usual states that were going to be safe blue, like Illinois, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Oregon. But you have Michigan being by 1 point, which probably makes the most sense because let me go back here. You also had Joe Biden winning Michigan by 2 points. So Biden did overperform Peters, and Peters did underperform Biden. So yeah, it wasn't a good election performance for him, but his election performance probably not the reason why he's leaving the Senate, as you saw from the article, that he does want to spend time with his family, and that he does want to be with his grandchild. He also believes, that politics is something you should supposed to stay in for life. So he's retiring. He's stepping aside, and there's going to be this open Michigan Senate seat, which is going to be very interesting to watch. So Gary Peters had some impressive performances. He's a two-time senator, like 2014, reelected in 2020, and he's going to be up for re-election in 2026. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. I'm not sure if there's been any polls on this. Let me check. U.S. Senate. Go to Michigan. I went past it. Okay, so that's for 2024. No, there's nothing for 2026. Are there any? I'm pretty sure there's polls for 2026, right? There would be, yeah. Okay, so the last poll we got was Virginia, yeah. Which this is a hypothetical. Okay, there's none of the nominees The Republican nominees haven't been chosen for Virginia in 2026, along with all the other ones. We also have Georgia. It's kind of interesting. These are Republican uh, ones, but I'm not really focusing on these ones right now. I'm just focusing on the news of Gary Peters stepping aside. Uh, so let me see if there's anything in this article. So, and that goes back 2008 when I first won the House seat. I thought it would be a matter of a few terms that I would serve, and then I would go back to a private life. Peters' announcement shocked many in Washington political circles Tuesday with his decision, likely to ignite an intense scramble on both sides of the aisle for a seat in battleground Michigan, which voted for Republican President Donald Trump last year by 80,000 votes, or 1.4 percentage points. At 66, Peter is relatively young for a U.S. Senator, but after 10 years in the Senate and 6 in the House, he has decided to pass the torch to a younger generation. Peters has also completed 2 election cycles, chairing the Senate Democrats campaign arm while at the same time chairing the Senate Homeland Security panel. So yeah, we do have Gary Peters stepping aside here. There's really not much more to talk about other than this is going to be a open Senate race. There's going to be a lot of candidates on both sides that are going to jump in. I'm sure the Democrats are going to try and be quick to choose their nominee and to get behind them, whoever that is. And the Republicans are going to be very excited for this race now that there's no longer a popular Democrat incumbent on the ticket anymore. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens and how this all developed, and we're going to see how it goes here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today. A little short. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed watching, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.